Good morning, thank you.
It is.
I was taught at an early age to be careful of the friends that you choose, the people that you spend your time with. And I try to practice that. I'm careful about watching too much news, the things that you put into your mind. And so I'm an employer, and I have people that work for me. And some of those people, if I spend too much time around them, I tend to feel not as well as I would if I hadn't been spending time with them. And I'm always challenged with, okay, as an employer, I can do something about that. I can say, I think maybe you'd be better off working someplace else, and I can take action and do that. And that when I listen to your material, I think that perhaps there's another way to approach it, but I'm not exactly sure the best way to handle that situation.
Well, the most important thing to understand is that we like the way you came into this. It's important. It matters. What were your words? It's important, the people that we choose. What were your words?
Choose to spend time with.
The people that we choose to spend time with, it is important. And we just want to back up a little bit and remind you that there's something that you are forgetting a little bit, and that is that you're choosing at a vibrational level that you're not even recognizing. You're not choosing in the way you think you're choosing. By the time it gets to the point where you're taking action and saying, I won't watch that television program, or I won't go with that person, or I'll limit the amount of news, that's trying to monitor and control your behavior, which if it doesn't have a vibrational supportive basis, then it's a current that's too big to buck, and then you're just exhausted all the time. It's like trying to hold wild horses back.
Right.
You following?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it's the thoughts that you are choosing. It starts at a much more base level of who you are. And so what happens, it's true, we've been saying for a long time, that the majority of the vibration that the majority of people offer is because of what they are observing.
Right.
So now let's break this down a little more. What you're observing means you're offering a vibration about it. And as you offer a vibration about it, it equals your point of attraction. And as it equals your point of attraction, then law of attraction matches you up with things that are like that. So once you get a cycle going, like you're working with someone, you're observing their behavior, maybe tensing against it, not enjoying the behavior, the more you look at it, the more it's active in your vibration. The more it's active in your vibration, the more you choose more of it. Not just from that person, but from other people around. So if you finally get enough of it that you say, enough, I'm the boss. I'm not just the boss of me, I'm the boss of you in this case. And I choose that you go someplace else. You've taken action, but you haven't changed your vibrational point of attraction. So the next one that comes is not so much different places and different faces, but pretty much the same experience. So we think that your childhood message to yourself is a really, really good one. I'm going to be aware of what I choose. We would just augment it by saying, I'm going to be aware of how I feel, because that indicates what I'm choosing vibrationally.
What you're attracting.
We've been offering books for a long, long time, and there are so many processes offered in them. Many of them about action, many of them about doing things differently, because sometimes when you do things differently, it causes you to think about them differently. And there is some benefit to a different behavior, which causes a different result, which causes a different observation, which can cause a different vibrational point of attraction. In other words, we're not saying that your action doesn't affect your experience, but it is so much the hard way of going about it, to the point that we've been mocking our own brilliant product. This is a deck of affirmation cards. This is money and the law of attraction. And we've assembled just precise words, the best words that could be put together to help someone to find the vibration that will allow abundance to move into their experience. But we also acknowledge that when you are in fear or when you are in concern and you take these affirmation cards and you begin to process them, that they backfire, because it makes you sort of dig in your heels in defiance, because everyone wants to believe that where they are is where they're supposed to be in some regard, and people get very defensive. Have you ever argued with someone? You know you're right, they know they're right, and the longer you argue, the more you both dig in.
The more you push, the more they push back.
And the bigger it gets, and
Right.
the worse you feel, because the further you get from alignment with what you really want. So when you're outside the vortex, I will praise success wherever I see it. If I ever saw any, I promise you I would praise it. I promise you that if these people who work for me we're taking your scanty analogy here because we know that there is much about those who work with you are appreciating. I will praise success wherever I see it, and as soon as I see one, I'll be the first to praise it. I will be. I will be. My what is need not influence my what is becoming. Well, that's very fortunate. That is extremely fortunate, because what is sucks. My every story is attracting its vibrational match. That's not good news either. Nothing is more important than I feel good. Well, then give me what I want, and then I will feel better. Who writes this stuff? I can make a career out of living happily ever after. And who will pay me for that? So we have fun with this because we know that when you are observing and therefore offering a vibration, that you can't buck your own current. So with all of the, in many cases, helpful processes that we have offered, we want to acknowledge that you can get so much more done, especially someone like you who really gets this. You can get so much more done by acknowledging when you are in the vortex, acknowledging when you are in alignment with who you really are, acknowledging that there is no resistance within you in a moment in time, and you can tell because you feel love, or you feel appreciation, or you just feel well-being, or you feel frisky, you feel eager, you feel good. You said good morning, and we said it is, it's a good morning. It is. When you feel that way, that's the time that you want to affirm. That's the time that you want to envision a really productive staff around you. That's when you want to appreciate the benefits and the aspects of everyone with whom you're involved. Because when you're in the vortex and you turn your attention toward those things, you practice that vibration. And it really is practicing the vibration. The more you allow the higher vibration, the more you allow it, the more you intend it, the more you are determined to have it, the more you focus upon it, the more you maintain it. That's the word we're reaching for. The more you maintain it, the more you maintain it, the more likely it is to be there, the more you maintain it. So if you do the majority of your work from inside the vortex, now these are all choices. I'm choosing to milk this conversation in my mind. Jerry and Esther were on the restaurant at the top of this hotel last night, and it revolves ever so slowly, and they were looking around this magnificent city, and the light was just so beautiful, and they have such appreciation for the beauty of the city and the fact that we rendezvoused with them here, and the idea of all of you gathering from all around to play with us today. They were just in heightened appreciation. And when you find yourself in that mode of heightened appreciation, and then you deliberately milk it or savor it or practice it or choose 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 it, what happens is that vibration within you just becomes a part of you. And your point of attraction then reflects that choice. So that the people even who have been bothering you can't give you that part of them, because that's not the part of them that you are choosing in this moment. We would not work hard at trying to offer behavior to control.
Right.
We would be aware of how we feel, and we would focus with determination to feel as good as we can. Esther has taken this last week. She said to Jerry, I'm going to tell you my 10 favorite things about this. And then she says, I'm going to tell you my 10 favorite things about this. Now I'm going to tell you my 10 favorite things about this. She's just been walking around, telling him her 10 favorite things about this person, about this event, about this place, about this house, about this city. And what a way to choose a vibrational frequency. I'm going to tell you my 10 favorite things about this. My 10 favorite things. What she's queued herself up for. Now, whether he's interested or not, he's going to hear her 10 favorite things about this, you see. My 10 favorite things. I'm choosing my 10 favorite things about this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. And you do that for a little while, and now you have chosen a frequency that won't yield to you anything except your favorite things about everything. You set a tone. You are your own vibrational emanator of vibration, which makes you your point of attraction, you see. You're choosing through your vibrational countenance. And then just be aware of what those choices are netting you. They will net you better dreams. They will net you better rendezvous. They will net you better timing. They will net you tremendous clarity. They will net you a happy heart. It will net you really productive people around you. It will net you the best of everything. And you have to understand, everything that you have been synthesizing, as you've been sifting through the data of life, all of this life and even before, but as you've been sifting through the data of this life, by knowing what you don't want, you send this rocket of desire into this, what we call this vortex of creation, where this vibrational state of being, this vibrational beingness begins to assemble the cooperative components. And as you are choosing your favorite 10 best things about this and this and this and this and this, what begins to happen is, even on the subjects that you have not defined your 10 favorite things about, because you've found enough things that you are in frequency with who you really are about, because you have made your way into your vortex, because you are now a cooperative component because of what you have been choosing, now the universe has to yield to you your favorite things about everything. Esther thinks that she thought of telling Jerry about her 10 favorite things in order to attract more favorite things. We would like to say to Esther that from inside the vortex, what she was actually doing was channeling or receiving or interpreting what her vortex is giving her about everything. In other words, that's what her vortex is saying to her. These are your favorite things about this. These are your favorite things about this. We have assembled not just 10, we have assembled all of your favorite things about everything that you have chosen. Everything that you have chosen since you were really little. When someone was rude, you chose nicer friends. When you were rude, you chose to be nicer. When you were sick, you chose to be well. When you didn't have enough money, you have chosen. In other words, your favorite things have already been assembled. You have already chosen. So now what you want to do is just relax into what you have chosen by letting it be.
Allowing it.
Allowing it. Aligning, allowing, letting it be.
It reminded me of the story I think you told us here in Phoenix the last visit about I think it's the Angry Birds game that you were playing, and then things were flying at you, and it's the same concept.
Anything that distracts you from trauma. Angry Birds is a interesting game because, first of all, the birds are angry. And so as you are flinging them. When Esther heard herself say, "Die, pigs, die," she knew she'd gone too far.